And definitely say blessed love to each and every one. What you are about to listen to is an excerpt from a previous Shock of the Hour radio recording that I'm sure you're gonna full joy. Speaking about the two sons, but believe me, it's much more than you expect. Just reminding you, all those who have been asking of the naturally made coconut chalices, remember they are available and they are there to be shipped to you wherever you are in the world. So if you are interested in your chalices, remember you can contact us via the email priestisaac27 at gmail.com. Give thanks.
Oh, royal habits. A punchy attitude, chip bone victim. Never forget it. Always had the manage good habit. Yeah, keep royal habits. Little big, keep royal habits. Manners your habit. In the morning, your habit. In the evening, your habit. Yeah, keep royal habits. Cleanliness is next to job. Right next to what? Keep royal habits.
Yeah, we definitely give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. In all habitat of righteousness and royalty. Glorify Emperor Haile Selassie first in all saints and do it. Welcome into the nest of the tiger. Trying to cause. No zebras in here. Once again, it's the moment, it's the time, it's the hour for the shock. The vibration is ever so mystic. Yes, it's the mystic vibrations, a shock of the hour. Honorable Priest Isaac, of course, with you. Humble servant, humble host. As always, we have a wonderful program in store for you. Yes, we will be talking about the two sons. I actually don't believe that is exactly what you expect. I think you may be thinking, we're going to be talking about the two sons that some people say they see in the sky from time to time, and there was a time when two suns were supposed to appear. I think one of them should have been the planet Marduk, or what is also known as Planet X, the Nibiru. But that's not exactly what we're going to be getting into. We're going to be going into it on a more cosmological level. We'll be talking about the whole aspect of the creation of the Earth, the creation of the planet. And this being the second sun, and it was once hosted by another sun, and that's within itself is a theory. So we're going to be looking at it as a theory. We're not trying to convince somebody about that. So you could definitely look forward to that. So we're not wasting any time. We have the Honorable Princess Acacia Menin here with us, and she will be definitely, as usual, be bringing us the Kiswahili word of the day. Of course, the Kiswahili word of the day is, a staple here on the Shock of the Hour, which is definitely a strength to all of us who are regular and constant listeners. So let us just say blessed love again to Honorable Princess Acacia Menin, who will again be bringing us the Shock of the Hour. Oh, Kiswahili word.
Yeah. Blessed love, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Kiswahili Word of the Day. Today's Kiswahili Word of the Day is familia, which means family in Swahili. The other ways to say family, noun is familia, which means family or household. Jama, which means families, relatives, family, and kindred. And uko, which is familiar, clan, lineage, descendant, family, or maid. I have one sentence here. Ninaipenda familia yangu. I love my family.
Oh, that's very nice.
That is our for the Kiswahili word of the day. Query, tuanane tena.
Okay, interesting there. So that's the Kiswahili word of the day. Familia. Familia, and we always say that's what really family is. People that have a familiar sort of spirit to you. If you don't have nothing, nothing about us is familiar. How can we really be family, But still at the same time, you mentioned the word there, Jama, isn't it?
Yep.
That's another word for, say, family.
Yes.
Okay, and I must say that has a more rootical sound towards the ancient language, I must say. The Jama, that's Jamma.
Yes.
Jamma, yeah, that has a stronger rootical, sound to that word. And that other word there, uku, that also means family to some extent.
Yes.
Yes, uku. That's spelled how?
UKOO.
Okay, so you see, you do have several words within the Kiswahili language that point out the word family. I like the uku and the jama, I must say, and it shows that we in Africa, we paid much attention to the family concept, the agency of the family. Can you give us that sentence again? I must say it sounded quite nice.
Ninaipenda familia yangu.
Ninaipenda familia yangu.
Yeah, that means I love my family.
Oh, wonderful. Well, your family loves you too. And we give thanks for the Honorable Princess Akecia Menen for the Kiswahili word of the day. And before we go into the actual shot for the moment here, the Honorable Prince Almasi is here and he'll be just dropping a fact for us, the scientific fact of the day. And I know he's ready to give us the stats, whatever it may be. Yes, my Lord, let's hear this one.
Blessed love, welcome to another edition of the Scientific Fact of the Day. And today's scientific fact of the day is you have not 700, not 7,000, but 7 octillion atoms in the adult person.
Okay.
7 octillion. And just for comparison, the whole Milky Way galaxy has 3 billion stars.
I hear you.
So you have 7 octillion atoms inside of the average.
Meaning you have more atoms than the Milky Way has.
Well, not more atoms, but more atoms than stars in the Milky
Way. Right. You have more atoms in you than the Milky Way has stars in it.
Yes.
Right. You get that. Millions and billions and aku?
Octillions.
Okay, that sounds like 8 zeros or something like that. All right, my Lord. Okay, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life in all good doings and sayings, and give thanks to the strength received there even a moment ago. All right, so we had the Kiswahili word of the day, and we had the scientific fact of the day. Yes, that's a lot of education there for you already. I mean, yeah, as we go through. So we have to take this to another level now. We are going to be talking about, what did I say? The two suns. And as I said, we are going to be looking at this more on a cosmic level, more on a creational level, not directly, what do you see in the sky and planet X is coming close and all of these different things. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to present to you a bit of information here. From a documentary entitled Does Electricity Connect Everything in Our Universe? And it will be directly, speaking of the connection, not just with electricity now, but it's going to be going into the connection with mythology and the cosmic creation. And this is, listen to me go there, is going to be going into some mythology and the cosmic connection with creation in general. And this is where the whole idea and the theory of the two suns, one prior to this one, will come in, because it's in the mythology, and even more so in the mythology than the science, but science is trying to theorize it. So you'll pick it up as you listen. And you see, this is why those of you who have youths and children that are already a part of our homeschool programming, depending on how long you've been on the homeschool programming, a lot of the information that you'll be hearing here tonight, your youths could tell you about that, because as you know, from you have children on the homeschool program, or even if you are one of the children on the homeschool programming, you may not want to tell anybody, but don't be ashamed, it doesn't matter. The information is still good, Because what that will do, that will assist you even in picking up the information that you're going to hear tonight, you know, because it's going to get a bit deep and it's coming from electric universe. As I said, does electricity connect everything in our universe? So here we go. Need you to listen in and to go straight into this one.
I just wanted to say something. On the topic of, mythology, in the Mayan world, everything started with two suns. And they were too bright. They just stand still, and somebody came and threw a rabbit at the second sun.
A rabbit.
Yeah. And it became the moon.
Dog and rabbit. Okay. All right, so that's a good start to where we're going now, obviously, because even down in the lesson here, we will be mentioning the man and that same theology of the sun, the first son and second son. But as we get there, we will really delve into it. So yeah, give thanks for more scientific fact of the day as we continue with this information here. Give thanks.
Us as individuals on this planet.
But what about the connection between the mythologies on this planet and cosmology?
Our research reconstructs the history of the solar system. Virtually every culture around the globe preserved their own story of the dragon combat. So in Greece, it was Zeus fighting Typhon. In ancient Mesopotamia, it was Marduk fighting Tiamat. In the Rig Veda, it was Indra fighting Vritra. You can take these traditions and distill out the common thematic patterns in them and reconstruct the history behind them.
If there is a pattern to be dissected by science and mythology that tell a different story of how the universe operates, where do we begin? Wall believes we should start with the ancient recollection of an Earth
The purplish and there being no seasons. So this meant the Earth's situation in the cosmos at that stage was quite different to what it is now, orbiting the sun. That took me decades to figure out, but having done it, it does require that we understand stars for the first time. And I say that because our present story of how stars function and what they actually are is based on a belief established in 1920 by Eddington, the astronomer, who felt that the only way to have a star shine for millions of years was for it to be powered by nuclear energy. Now, of course, we look at stars as being isolated objects in space at vast distances from one another, being fueled internally, which is like the old campfire in the sky of the Aboriginals. It's just an updated version of that ancient story. But the truth is different. In modern times, when we discovered electricity, we found that we can generate the power some distance away. It can be hundreds or even thousands of miles away, and yet we can light a home with electric lights. It has not been considered that stars are connected electrically to the galaxy and that they trace the spiral arms of a galaxy like streetlights following the power lines. When you have that situation, you don't have to have nuclear energy lighting a star from inside. This paints a whole different picture of what a star is, and it also paints a whole different picture of what the various types of stars are, the red stars, the blue stars, the white dwarfs, and so on. They have to be then explained electrically, which is a whole different ballgame.
Wall suggests this electrical understanding of stars might explain that Earth originally could have orbited a different star than our current sun. He was able to pinpoint that at one time the Earth might have orbited a red dwarf.
All right, so here's where we're getting into that knowledge now. So once upon a time, Earth may have been orbiting a red dwarf. And again, that's why I said for those who are in the homeschool, international homeschool programming, your children for sure, they could sit in and listen to the Shock of the Hour with you and explain to you exactly what's going on here with these different types of stars and yellow and white and bluish and red. Yeah, trust me. So let us continue.
The ancients said that there was no seasons and there was no rain, but water misted out of the atmosphere almost continually. This is the ideal situation for the Carboniferous era giant plants. And they're found in the Antarctic and the Arctic, the remains of these things. The question was, how on earth did they grow there? Red stars are probably of such a low temperature, and their redness is actually responsible for this dim red light, that we were part of a red dwarf system which was captured by the sun. The idea that life is more likely to be found inside the red anode glow, as it's called, paints a different picture to the situation on Earth. When you're orbiting inside a glowing sphere, you receive the same energy over every square inch of the body. That means that the poles are at the same temperature as the equator, and it doesn't matter whether you're orbiting fast, upside down, on your side, whatever, you will still receive the same energy. So any other body in that same environment will feel the same. The question then arises, well, if we were a partner to a red dwarf, where is the red dwarf? Well, the answer to that electrically is easily answered too. On entry into the sun's environment, that electric light would switch off. Not only that, because it's at a lower voltage than the sun, it would turn into a comet.
The red dwarf deactivation could be explained simply by the difference of voltage between European and American appliances. American appliances run at 110, while European appliances run at 220. If you try to plug in a high voltage item into a standard line, it could fry your appliances, electrocute you, or cause a power outage. In the case of the red dwarf, the sun's voltage was much stronger, and therefore it caused a power outage in the red dwarf, which then caused it to lose its ability to electrically keep Earth and Mars orbiting its body.
Okay, so you got that. I don't want us to lose exactly what's going on here. So it's all about electricity. They're using the AC and the DC kind of model to give you an example. But the real point is that Earth and I think it was Mars and Saturn were orbiting around this red dwarf, and the real big sun came along and kind of fused out or short fused the red dwarf, and we just followed the real sun, something like that. And this is why now you notice Earth and Mars and Saturn have a similar angle in their tilts, you know, on the axis as such. And I think they're going to go somewhat into that even in this documentary. So let's get that again just for clarity.
And then arises, well, if we were a partner to a red dwarf, where is the red dwarf? Well, the answer to that electrically is easily answered too. On entry into the sun's environment, that electric light would switch off. Not only that, because it's at a lower voltage than the sun, it would turn into a comet.
The red dwarf deactivation could be explained simply by the difference of voltage between European and American appliances. American appliances run at 110, while European appliances run at 220. If you try to plug in a high voltage item into a standard line, it could fry your appliances, electrocute you, or cause a power outage. In the case of the red dwarf, the sun's voltage was much stronger, and therefore it caused a power outage in the red dwarf, which then caused it to lose its ability to electrically keep Earth and Mars orbiting its body.
And so the whole system, when it broke down, the red glowing layer would disappear. We would see the stars, and we would see the universe for the first time.
If this is true, could there be more documented evidence of a new sun witnessed around the globe?
One of the most important myths that we latched onto early on that has just been generally overlooked by other scholars is that the primeval sun is described in terms that are impossible to reconcile with the current sun. For example, the Mayan Bibles called the Popol Vuh And in that document, they will describe the origin of the first sun. And it says, when the sun first appeared, it was fixed in the sky like a mirror. And they specifically say that that sun is not the present sun. If that tradition was only found in...
Okay, before we go any further, so he's using, again, as the Prince mentioned also, so he's using now the Mayan's writing of the Popol Vuh, and showing that they're saying, well, at the creation, the sun was, in the sky, was, I guess, fixated. It wasn't going anywhere. And there was another sun around, and eventually that sun took over. Let's hear that again.
For example, the Mayan Bible's called the Popol Vuh. And in that document, they will describe the origin of the first sun. And it says, when the sun first appeared, it was fixed in the sky like a mirror. And they specifically say that that sun is not the present sun. If that tradition was only found in Mesoamerica, you might overlook it. But we have now tracked down similar traditions in ancient Egypt, ancient Mesopotamia, ancient India, like in the Rig Veda. They describe the sun as sitting as a stone in the middle of the sky, just like the Popol Vuh describes their sun. So clearly they're talking about a different sun than our current sun, because the current sun obviously does not sit still fixed in the middle of the sky. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, for example, there's a very famous passage that says that the sun both rose and set over the same mountain, Mount Mashu. And obviously the current sun can't both rise and set over the same mountain. But in our theory, the sun was fixed in the sky over a world mountain. So it is certainly possible for it to rise and set from the same place. And so that's not just a tradition confined to the Gilgamesh epic, found already, let's say in 2000 BC. It's a very, very old tradition. It'll be found all around the world.
Could the current sun have electrically deactivated our first sun? If so, how would a new sun have affected life on planet Earth? And what would the ancients have witnessed?
One of the other aspects of being a satellite of a red dwarf is that red dwarfs, being an electrical object, have only one way of dealing with changes in their electrical environment. And that is to eject matter. They flare. And this is known. Astronomers have been absolutely amazed at the fury of some of these outbursts from red dwarfs. Now, in the case of our red dwarf star, it, in encountering the sun's environment, would have had to adjust suddenly to the sun's environment. In the process, it would have ejected material in large quantities.
All right, let us just hold it there for the moment. I think we are, at least the meat of what I want to touch upon, I think we already gathered that. Okay, we're looking at this scientifically, and we're still looking at it from a mythological level. That's what we're dealing with here. So let us just deal with this quickly. Nothing hard for us to comprehend. Okay, so where we are, we're dealing with the creation of the planet. That's one of the main things here, the creation of the world. And how we are being taught, basically, the world is like about 4 billion years old, also 4.5 billion years old, almost the same age as the sun, somewhere like, within that time frame. They're about the same age, maybe just a couple, million years apart. But they're still the same age, yeah. But so what we have here, with our understanding of the earth, you have a lot of these in creation, the Big Bang and the explosion of stars and nebula and these things. So you have what you call these little rocks that come together to form planets. Planeteers, planetium.
Yeah,
Planeteer, okay.
or something like that.
All right, I'll plan something. But so we know that the rocks from the space debris and so come together and they fuse together, and eventually planets are formed and these different things. And Earth was once molten rock, and then once it was just water frozen over. One continent cracked up and became what it became today. Then you're gone into evolution, and I don't mean from monkey to man, you know, you cannot dismiss the understanding of single cell amoeba and stromatolites and pardon me?
Uranium.
And all of these different things, right? And I think it's true, yes. So what does the uranium ore do again? I think that is what.
That's like for to help the single cells.
Yeah, you're right. That helps the single cells, right? Exactly. So we understand that there's a process here. That's what I'm kind of doing in a nutshell. There's a process, the creational process. I mean, it's not a religion now, and you don't have to get spooky here and tell me about Adam and the rib and Eve and all of that. I mean, all of that's mythology, and it can find itself properly as well, you know, in the whole aspect of creation, but you just have to know where to fit it in. So I'm saying all that to say now, back to the mythology of it. We just kind of run through the science of it very quickly. I don't know. You'd have to know the science to even get what we just said there, but you basically should. And creation, as I said, we're talking 4.5 billion years for the creation of the earth that we know of today. Good. All right. So the ancient ones were saying that there was a time. So we have a group of people. They have a lot of different theories out there. You have the flat earth theory. You have the inner earth theory, which I really must say the inner earth, I kind of lean towards it. You have the upside down earth theory. What else? All kind of theory. The moon, where the moon really came from. Theory. Some say dynamite blew the moon off the earth. Some say the moon is something all by itself. So there are different theories. Now, so there's this theory that there was a sun before this sun. And when this sun came from wherever it came from, it destroyed the other sun. The other sun had to just buckle and maybe just disintegrated to whatever's going on with it now. Good. But this first sun, unlike this sun, according to the theory, I guess the earth and the sun were not in the same position as this earth now and the sun we have, because we rotate, we revolve. Rotate and revolve. So you're rotating on your axis and you're going around the sun. Good. And that is why we see the sun rise and set, because we are rotating on this axis. It doesn't have to say the axis, you know. This is something they put in your mind. You see, all of that, although I use the term, man, sometimes I gotta check myself. Because they teach you that in school so you can somehow gather your mind to be able to understand how the earth could fit on something, you know, how the earth could spin in space then. How the earth spin in space? Oh, no, it's not just spinning in space, it's sitting on an axis. So you're thinking it's on a pin, spinning around. Oh, okay, makes sense now. Good, good. So what's the pin sitting on? You know, I mean, we don't have to fool nobody about no axis and no invisible nothing. The earth is being suspended wherever it is. Space ain't got no top and bottom, pardon me.
Given the fact that the earth is tilted.
And tilted, all of that, maybe drop off the pin too. You see? So exactly. But you know, it's just a term. And then there's this terminology that there's an axis that goes through the earth like a shish kebab stick, and the earth is there just spinning through it. But anyway, the point really is we understand it's the rotation of the earth that gives this impression. Good. So when you're going to tell me now that we once had a sun that was in the middle of the sky and it did not move. Let's now remember, these are scientists speaking here. Scientists that are balancing mythology with their science. This can be very dangerous. I mean, you can balance them. They belong together, you know. But when you balance them, just like you try to balance mythology and history in the wrong way, using the wrong formula, it can be dangerous. And I'm getting a sensing a little danger here. I know these are PhDs. I know we were listening to the professors. I know they have more letters than I have in all my names put together, but that doesn't mean common sense is not here. Because I'm saying now, if you're telling me, and remember, we're not talking pure mythology. We're trying to link mythology with science. So it's not as if I'm speaking to people that not in the mood to hear about science. It's not as if I'm speaking to religious people. I'm speaking to people that have a good understanding of science. So I don't think I would have any argument here that if the sun is in the middle of the sky all day, every year, that means the earth was not rotating at that time. Obviously, maybe it means that the sun or this red dwarf did not have the energy, because it's the energy from our current Orion that gives the earth the ability to spin the way it's spinning. It's the sun's energy. If you cool down or lock off the sun, the earth slows down. And that wouldn't be good at all for nobody. You know what I mean? People say that the earth gonna soon stop and turn and spin in the opposite direction. Man, trust me, if the earth just slow down, nobody gonna live to see it stop and go in the opposite direction. People say that like if it's just a simple thing. If the earth slow down, brother, that's it.
If it stopped,
Stop. Nobody, as if you're going to hear that on the news. On the news today, the earth has stopped and the sun is not moving, Bill. When last you saw the sun move, that can't happen. People have that as a joke. You slow down anything, people start to explode. Pressure. Remember, we have internal pressure and external pressure. You know that. And when you offset the pressure, either you implode or explode, something will happen. Things will deteriorate, mash up, just because the earth slowed down. Don't play with that. Things will change dramatically. So I'm just saying that to say that the impression you're giving me is that the earth was not rotating because the sun was not moving in the sky. Good. All right. Okay. And that's another thing. That's another thing. We are to believe that human civilization was there, present at this first sun, that we witnessed this first sun disappear and this present sun come into the sphere. And I assume the earth start to rotate and to revolve around this sun where it started to rise and set. Because the other sun wasn't rising and setting. It was right there in the middle of the sky. So you may say, all right, maybe the earth was rotating, but the sun was moving with it. So that is why it just appeared to never move, because as the earth was spinning, as the world turns, the sun was going around as if the sun now is actually going around the earth instead of the earth going around the sun. So that's why it looks like the sun is in the sky just there. Can't happen. Okay. And if we just go to the whole theory that the earth is not moving and the sun is not moving, because that's the easiest thing to say, the earth not moving, sun not moving, that's why the sun not moving. All right, good. So we win the argument. Priest, lock it down now. Well, I wasn't really arguing. I was just trying to, see how it works. Good. Now, what the brother here said that was speaking there, well, I don't really know. I don't know if I should call it brother. What the man was saying there, the individual, what he was saying, he said, listen to what he said, no disrespect to him, that if the man's alone was saying this, it would be okay. Maybe we would say, all right, let's put that aside. But hear this, this is the joke here. No offense. On the other side of the planet, he didn't say it like that, but he said in India, in the Rig Veda, they say the same thing. What they say? They say the sun is in the middle of the sky, like if it's noonday and it's not moving for years upon, not even years, I'd assume for eons or whatever. This is life. People born and die and see the sun there never. So the impression you get is as if there's no night. That's why you sing the choruses. No night in Zion, there is no night there. Hallelujah, there is no night there. Meaning that it don't mean, I mean, this is the same thing. That's a mythological song there you're singing it. There's a science behind the song. What the rest of the song say? Rastafari is our light. So we don't need no candlelight. Well, Bob was singing like that. Hallelujah, there is no night there. Because Rastafari, the lamb is the light. Hear that? The lamb, no, not the lamp. The lamb is the light. All of that is science, even within the word, lamb and lamp. Remember the bean lamb silent, eh? So if the bean lamp was silent too, lamb and lamp, because the lamb is the light. Lamb is the light. The lamp is the light. This is serious, eh? Science is in the word, science is in the cosmic, science is in mythology. So I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, if you have the sun in the middle of the sky in Central America, and to be honest, from my perspective, there couldn't be no Central America yet. Until the advent of the sun, we know. You know, if you understand, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Know-it-all, and I'm not saying everything the scientists teach us is true, but I think I use enough common sense to, follow certain things. And to give me a well-created civilization in the Yucatan Peninsula, looking up in the sky for generations upon generations upon generations at a sun that's not moving. And then on the other side of the sphere, in the Indus Valley, generations upon generations upon generations of Hindu people looking up in the sky and seeing a sun that's not moving. And then just a few degrees to the northeast in Mesopotamia, or northwest in Mesopotamia, or wherever, but it's not something in Mesopotamia. People looking up, seeing the same thing. Not a 2 o'clock sun. Their sun is in the middle of the sky too. Not a 10 o'clock sun. All of these civilizations that write about the sun in the sky that not moving, all of them say it's 12 o'clock. They didn't say 12 o'clock, but they say it's in the middle of the sky. So how is it from all of these different angles at the same time,
from one side of the earth to another,
different latitude and longitude, coordinates, all of them looking up in the sky and seeing the same thing at the same time, and it not moving? And these are people that are known for their esoteric writings. And we're going to take that now and try to fuse that into science to be something we're supposed to accept because, hey, the man said that there was a sun that wasn't moving. So that means there had to be a sun before this sun, and this, it must be the truth because the people on the other side of the world said it. And the people on Mars said the same thing too, you know. So weird. So obviously when Joshua stopped the sun, eh? In Ethiopia, there's a saint that stopped the sun. I think it's Abba Exer, or one of these ones. I can't remember who it was. But he translated the New Testament into Ge'ez. And when he was translated, when he came to the book of Mary, the sun was going down. And he prayed to God to stop the sun for him so he could finish off the book of Mary. That's Ethiopian. And he finished off the book of Mary. And when he done, say, give thanks, and God make the sun come down.
Wouldn't life on Earth be a little bit different?
All of that, the sun can't just stop. So that's what I tell you now, for the earth to stop. That, and it's, remember, all of these mythologies that we're reading, I mean, these scientists should know better than that. All of these mythologies say that this fella stopped the sun. You're a scientist, you're not a religious mind. How they stop the sun? That means the sun, you know the sun can't stop. You know the sun done stop already. The sun ain't moving. It's the earth that has to stop to give the impression that the sun is stopping. So when Joshua stopped the sun, if we want to get real with this, Joshua had to have stopped the earth. Isaiah, in the book of Isaiah, the sun went back 10 degrees on the sundial. You know what that means? That means the sun slow down, stop, and reverse, stop, and then go back the right way. You mad? That's a smoothie you're making there. You blending up something there. That's you shake and baking people. You gonna stop the earth, reverse, and go back. You ever in a car with the earth, reverse, and then go forward, earth. You gonna do that with the planet Earth, the moon, and so we lick out the orbit just for that. That's Isaiah, the book of Isaiah. Hezekiah was sick and he prayed for God to give him Hezekiah, one of these kings. You get 15 years, 15 degrees, because the degrees that the sundial went back is the years that he got to his life. So I'm just saying, not prolonging it. I'm not dissing the scientists. I'm just saying. That is why I even tell my scholars, students, hey, listen, when you listen to information, don't just swallow everything people say. People would listen to this and come and try to preach that to you tomorrow, and vex with you if you don't accept their theory. That does hurt me, People, they just read a book and they, hey, listen, I find out this new thing. This is what really going on, Hey, you don't believe me? You better forget what you believe and follow me now. Because this thing is the real thing. You go ahead. And then tomorrow they come and say, hey, I revised the thing, I get a new thing now today, brother. You see this thing here, this is what we need to follow. That's some people like that. They're not firm. They're people that will listen to this and say, boy, we used to have a next sun that never move in the sky. Yeah, man. Prove that to me. And I can't remember, but I have some big scientists in America. That man was on TV last night, brother. You should have watched it. That can't help you. You can't even explain the thing properly. As I said, you have to be careful when you take in information. That's why, there was no J in the alphabet in Hebrew. Them kind of things don't work with me. Those kind of things don't work with me. Akhenaton, he was a sellout and then he changed the Ammon rule and he created his own thing. That definitely don't work. Me?
Not at all.
Because we done decipher that for the world. It's just that people pretend as if they don't see. You know what I mean? Trust me, I laugh sometimes, when I see other people still discussing them old news. Yeah, man, all tonight they're going to come on, big debate, and talking as if they didn't hear that God explained to them how the story really goes. But anyway, I know what I say. Let me not bring all of them laundry to the people. Yeah, but anyway, so just look at it, my brothers and sisters. If there was a, and that's another thing, I personally do not see that these civilizations existed at the time when the earth was evolving. That's another thing altogether. The earth was in its evolution stage. Not unless this is some sort of quantum science that I'm not hip to, where you're going to tell me the earth was already formed when the other sun was there. The fact that it's not rising or setting goes against the whole pattern of the earth that we understand, and how flowers bloom and seeds, what seeds do, germinate and blossom and whatever else the plants do, and animals and reproduction and everything else, and cycle and hurricanes. Nothing is the same with a sun sticking there and the earth watching it. That don't make sense. It's like stagnant water. So let's not mix up mythology. This is why, no disrespect, this is why your brethren stand firm on what I stand firm on, and this is why we can decipher things and break them down into different pieces, because we don't get caught up in dogma. When you get caught up in dogma and get tied up in a religion and everything becomes religious, you can't move. It's like doing a critical thinking problem. When they ask you to figure out, we have 9 balloons and this amount of balloons were red and this amount was green and this amount was blue, and this plus this equals 5 balloons. How many balloons did this person have? And you have to figure that out. And when you figure that out, they have a next question for you now concerning the balloons. And listen to this. If you got the first answer wrong, you're going to get the rest of the questions wrong, because the second question is based on you getting the first question right. I wonder if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Well, you would understand, because we do critical thinking all the time. You understand. So I'm just showing you it's the same thing with theories and your understanding. Because you're religious and you don't believe that Joshua stopped the sun, you can't even have this conversation, because you done locked there and he stopped the sun. You don't even want to hear nothing else. And Jonah was in the fish. You explain, well, listen, number one, there's no fish that can swim. No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You don't get thee behind me, Satan, and all kind of things. Oh, wait. But Auntie, it's just a discussion happening with you. You know what I mean? They don't even want to hear that, you know. So anyway, my people, listen. As always, it was a joy. We ain't gonna spend forever with you tonight. You know what I mean? Give thanks for your presence. Give thanks for welcome in us into your space. You know what I mean? Give thanks for the Kiswahili word of the day, the familia, the uku, what's the other one, jam. Give thanks for the octillions. How many atoms we have, King?
7 octillions in the average adult person.
Give thanks for all of that, and give thanks for the two sons and the science of the two sons and the hero twins and all of that. We're gonna get into the main and ask the creational story one of these days. Okay, life given the keeper of life. If you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And you know it takes some realize to realize the real lies that are amongst us. King Selassie, right?
Jah
Rastafari, blessed love.